Alrighty, hello there. Haven't done any stream in a while now, because I've been busy otherwise, but want to do one now since I've been doing a little bit of updates to my mission frame or like the script framework, and wanted to show that as well as just have a little bit of fun playing around. So I changed up the whole faction or loadout system, whereas it's even more dynamic now and just overly pretty cool. So I literally just started up the mission, and so like being the Zeus of the mission, like the first thing that pops up as soon as I load the mission is like, you know, this screen, which you might have seen one of the other streams I did before as well. So, you know, it always asks me to set this up before doing anything else. So yeah, so far I've only included like the Western allies, as the UK and United States in this, but you see we have like other options here, like, you know, if it's gonna be airborne or like in the winter. So you can of course also combine different, like, you know, airborne in a winter scenario. So yeah, since it's like a North Africa thing, I could, for example, be saying I want to play as airborne, but I also obviously want this to be in a desert setting. So you'll see now. You see now I've been teleported, basically because like if I would switch loadout in the middle of an op, you know, everybody gets teleported back to base so they can select a new loadout based on what faction you're playing. And then it's asking me for the unit faction for the AI, so again, since it's a desert thing, obviously I'm gonna go with the Africa Corps. And then the textures for the AI vehicles, so obviously also going with the Africa Corps here. So, since there isn't like early war, like airborne uniforms, what happens is that we're gonna have like the basic British Army uniforms, but as you can see, it's now combined with the paratrooper stuff. So like, you know, this is like the base loadout, just walking around in the camp before you actually select your final loadout. So, you know, I like this kind of like camp sort of vibe to it, you know? But yeah, I'm then going to one of these boxes here. Let me take, for example, just a rifleman. And then you can now see that it's, you know, it is airborne, but it's also Africa. So, you know, basically what I've selected here with the airborne and the desert. I could also just, obviously depending on what kind of mission I'm doing, let's say just regular airborne would obviously look different. So you can see like the base loadout, if you just haven't selected any specific loadout yet. Obviously looks something like this, what you would basically exactly what you would expect. Yeah, the one cool new thing that added to the framework is that you can now you get um, uniform depending on your username. What I mean by that is like usually if you're in an armor unit in your username you have your rank like sergeant or whatever. So I can't just demonstrate that right now since I don't have that in my username, but yeah, if you select any of these loadouts here in the list, no, regardless of which one, um, it will not only give you that loadout, but also will replace like the base uniform with whatever ranked uniform there is available. So you will actually like see the stripes on your arm for if you're like a sergeant or whatever. And you see that I'm currently a platoon NCO, like the loadout you see here, 1 from 1. So I changed it so that you can now in the squad info also not only see your role, which is like in the lobby screen what slot you selected, which for me was platoon commander, but you can also see which loadout you currently have. So this is just like a nice little overview for when you're for in game. Like I can see, okay, I'm part of the group platoon HQ. Obviously only me on the server right now, so I'm the only one that like in the group members here. You can see who your group leader is and like all this other nice information here. Also very important, of course, is to see how many respawn tickets you have left. So let's say I take, I don't know, just a Bren Gunner. You can see that this is now updated here. Your current loadout is a Bren Gunner. So especially with people who are new to ArmA, this is nice because you sometimes might not remember what your current loadout is. So, and for like when your squad leader or team leaders like want to know what kind of what they're rolling with in their fire teams, like you can simply bring this up and you can tell them what you currently are. And as I've said before, the numbers behind the loadouts here in the menu also are a nice indicator for what you currently have. So I can see, okay, there's currently one Bren Gunner. Yeah, and the whole menu here will also can be changing on the fly depending on what is selected. So for example, you see here we have a very special role, which would be, for example, the mortar gunner, since they had those 2-inch mortars in the for the British Airborne, which were like in each squad. So something like the Bren gunner or mortar gunner would be like, or even the sniper being part of the section here would be like something that is pretty special to the British Airborne. Like every squad would have a sniper. So obviously, if I would say I'd change it to United States Airborne, it would be. So first, you can see that all the flags are like that's gonna change to be American now. So that's also pretty cool. That's all that kind of stuff can change on the fly, Like you see the flags here, the flag here, and this one. So that's all a nice touch. And my base loadout now looks like this. But you can see also now what I was talking about. Like the whole menu is different now. You see there's like a rifleman carbine. And the sniper, for example, is now part of the is now down here, since in the American Airborne you wouldn't have a sniper like for each section. So, and yeah, instead of Bren gunner you now have MG gunner and automatic rifleman. So yeah, the whole menu can change on the fly depending on what is selected. And then again the dynamic loadouts also change what you see in here, of course. Oh yeah, not only the uniform will change, like the rank, depending on what your name is set to, but also stuff like the helmets. Like if I was like a sergeant according to my username, then I would not only have like a uniform with a sergeant rank on it, but also my helmets would have I would have different helmets, so you know, NCO helmets with the white line on the back here of the helmet. Of course, that only works wherever such uniforms and helmets are provided by the mods. So, but yeah, there's like a lot of stuff in here. And then also there's sometimes a variety of different things that you can select um, for uniforms and stuff. So yeah, the list is very dynamic and provides different um, options wherever possible. So again, for the Navy, the default camp loadout. And then we have, as you can see here, for example, it's also again different. We have the automatic rifleman here in this section, like the section part of loadouts. But however, the MG gunner moved to the support since the MG would be part of the, not part of of each squad. So yeah, like the loadouts can be very different, or like not also what is available, but also the numbers, because as you can see, everything right now pretty much says maximum one, like maximum one grenadier, maximum one automatic rifleman. Um, yeah, I mean obviously you will always gonna have maximum one platoon commander, stuff like that, but for certain classes, one change that I did is that the numbers, like the max amount of a specific class, is now depending on the amount of players on the server. So you can, I guess, compare that to, for example, Rising Storm. If you play that game, I think had that where you would have a limit to a specific class depending on how many players on the server. So I did that for my loadout system as well. So right now, for example, there is a max. You can only have a maximum of one automatic rifleman. However, if there is, let's say, 8 players on the server, this number will change to maximum 2. And then there's like, I don't know, 18 players on the server, and the maximum amount of automatic riflemen will be 3 players. And these numbers are also depending on the faction that you're currently playing as. Like, for example, MG gunners, you can have maximum 3 with 18 players if you're playing as, for example, airborne, since they usually had a machine gunner in every squad. However, if you're playing like just regular army, then the MG would be maximum 1, since it's not, they didn't have a machine gunner in every single squad. So the numbers are very, very dynamic in that regard, and it can all be changed on the fly. And I can also adjust such stuff from Zeus. You see here, for example, adjust class limits and adjust class limits scale. Adjust class limits would be, let's say, see it also playing a little notification here. So I just added two more to the I'm Buzztr0n, and if you look at the actually, okay, yeah, you can't see it now because it's let's see. Yeah, you can see I added 2 slots to the platoon commander, and so it says now 0 out of 3. Um, it didn't update it for the automatic rifleman because for that one it's a bit more complicated with like the since it's based with like the amount of players that are currently on the server. Where for the platoon commander, like obviously that's doesn't matter how many players are on the server. But yeah, I could change also the scale thingy, which is what I called the thing. I was talking about like how many people are on the server for the for the maximum limit to change. So right now the default thing would say that 6 players. 6 players would be when there's like 2 instead of 1 automatic rifleman. 12 players would be 3 instead of 3 automatic riflemen, and so on. So I can also change these kind of numbers on the fly like this. Then also one little change is that I can now. So originally I had it set so that certain roles here you could only select depending on your role in the lobby screen. So for example, platoon commander, I could only select this one if I was actually in the platoon commander slot on the lobby screen. This is something that is now can be turned on and off. So for example, if you want anybody to be able to pick any of these loadouts regardless of what their role in the lobby screen is, that it's possible now, and it's enabled by default, so people don't have to back out to the lobby screen, if they gonna change to a different role in their squad or shit like that. Or let's say the platoon commander had to leave in the middle of the op, somebody else can just pick this loadout without having to go back to the lobby screen. And this will actually also pick over stuff like the medical skills. So if I look at myself right now, oh wait, not the, it's, sorry, I forgot it's called traits. So you see right now my traits are no medical training, none. But picking let's say the combat medic, you see now that my medical trait was set with ace, so it did the ace skill shit is not based on what player you load in as from the lobby screen. Like all the traits and everything is based on what loadouts you select. Switching back to UK, you see all the flags are changing back. again, you can see, since we're no longer airborne right now, you can see there's no mortar gunner or sniper in the section roles. What else is there? There's one nice little addition for pilots now, which is that when pilots respawn, they have like a special, it's their own little respawn location that they will respawn at. So usually all players like respawn wherever the newest respawn location is. So for example here, you know, that's like the most recent respawn location, which usually is like, you know, close to the front line. But there is something that I added now where pilots will always respawn as if it's available, then pilots will always spawn at the, for example, this airfield, you know, so they don't have to like wait for Zeus to teleport them back to their planes or whatever. And it's also now its own um, deploy zone. So like if I go here, like let's say this is the current most recent respawn, I go to the deployment table, where I can also of course get my loadout, but I can redeploy, you see, to the newest deploy zone, oldest, to the spawn area. There's a bunch of options here, but also crew area. And crew area is what I mean with either like pilots or like their tanks with tank crew and shit like that. So you see, you know. So if for whatever reason a pilot ends up at the front line, he can also use this to get back to the airfield. I fucked up with the sandbags here, as you can see. So yeah. And then can I use the same thing, of course, to be like, oh, let's get me back to the spawn area. So now I'm back at the spawn area. And this thing is what in the spawn area is that's used to bring up the same menu. So newest deploy zone, for example, like I said, is what the front line would be, you know. So that would be obviously, in this case, this back here, which on the map is, you know, the respawn marker that I showed you. So yeah, so this way it's just very, very dynamic, and not only does it mean I don't have to, like, you know, babysit players having to be teleported around, but it also means that players don't have to wait on a Zeus, because, you know, in some cases Zeus might be busy with something right now, like in the middle of a fight or something, and, you know, players would have to wait on the Zeus to teleport them around, and now people can, like, use this very clever system to deploy themselves to wherever they need to be. And it has like some other dynamic shit, like if you respawn too close to enemies, like let's say they're like within, I think I set it to like 100-meter radius around you that you respawn where enemies are, then it will teleport you back to base, and you get a little notification that says your respawn is overrun by enemies, so you know you have to go somewhere else. Or let's say your game crashed and you come back in. Usually people always ping me like, hey, my game crashed, can you get me back into the fight? And I'm just like, that's not necessary, because as you can see here, this will allow you to be teleported back to your group leader. And the same applies here. If the group leader is currently in the middle of a fight with enemies close by, then the system will tell you, actually, that should be something I can show you even with AI. Like, if, let's say I have an AI person as my group leader. Let me check that real quick. One second, I just need to change my... Alright, now now this guy is my group leader. Um, so now that that guy AI dude is my group leader, I should be able to just select destination group leader. And as you can see, moving to group leader, I'm now with my group leader. However, so you can see here's my group leader, there am I. However, let's move the group leader a bit further away and set him to hold fire, and I'm gonna put down a little, like some enemies. So see, anyway, I'll have some enemies close by. Now let's try that again. Select group leader. You see enemies nearby. Oh, 200 meters, okay. Your group leader is too close to enemy forces within 100-meter range? Okay, I guess I can't make up my mind if it's 100 or 200 meters. Please wait or select different deployment options. So you can see this kind of system is very dynamic. Like, and thinks of special cases where you should not be allowed to deploy somewhere, like enemies in being there. And the same deployment system is what I enabled for myself to use from Zeus. So you can see if I right click on any player here, I can use teleportation, and then basically gives me the same option, the same, like, you know, for, let's say, crew area, so to the pilots. And as Zeus, it actually gives me two more options, with like the text that it's gonna display, and also if I wanna include the whole group to be teleported. So if it's just gonna be his individual that needs to be teleported, or if it's gonna be his whole group. So if I do this, for example, now, then you see it's gonna move me. So yeah, it's just a bit more user-friendly, because all important teleport options are always, you know, there in the menu. So there is never really any reason for me to like manually teleport anyone outside of the like outside of using this menu here, since, like I said, all options here. I don't think I've showed it in my streams yet, so being a pilot, you can actually also change the pylons. Pylons, if you're familiar with ArmA, you know, is all the stuff, the weapons and everything on your plane. So let's take this Buzztr0n plane, for example, which obviously has a lot of different weapons on it. I can go here on the ACE interaction, then you see here Buzztr0n modules change pylons. Oh, okay, shit, I made a mistake with that one. Does not have any cargo container. Oops! I made a change to this recently and did not consider one thing with this. I fucked up. Let me see if I can, like, change that on the fly here real quick. Okay, there we go. So, like I said, you can change the pilots. So, um, also you saw it just told me to unlock the vehicle after being done with this. The reason for that is that you can't have any players inside the vehicle while you're changing pilots. It's just like causing desynchronization problems. So, anyway, being now the vehicle is locked automatically, so nobody can get inside while I'm changing the pilots. And you can see I can just select anything new here, and you can see the pilots were changed. And now I just have to use the same thing here again to make sure the vehicle is now unlocked so people can access it again. But yeah, this way players can change pilots of like whatever vehicle they're using on the fly. Um, and yeah, it has like a cooldown to it. Same for when I like rearm or anything like that. So you can see if I get inside that when I get inside using Ace interaction, you can also see that I have an option to rearm, to repair, and refuel. So the reason why I added all of that is because not every mod has like its own vehicles you can use. Like obviously some mods have like you have like trucks, like rearm trucks and refuel trucks, but not for some mods you don't have those options. So that's why I wanted one overall generic system that can be used like for anything. So obviously these options work without any of those extra vehicles, and this will only work while you're inside the base here. So like I can't just press rearm or whatever while I'm out and fighting enemies or anything. So I have to be here on the, like in this case, on the airstrip here in order to be able to do any of that. Yeah, and all of those have a cooldown to them as well. So if I rearm, your vehicle's ammunition was restocked, and you see the 10-minute cooldown. Um, all of these sort of the same is when you use one of the dynamic rearm boxes as infantry. So you see I can put down an ammo crate and then add the Buzztr0n module add resupply functions. And now I can use this box to rearm. And this is also dynamic. See, the box itself doesn't have anything inside it, as you can see. So what instead you reapply your loadout via like a script on the box. The cool thing about this is that I don't need to resupply boxes with fucking million ammo magazines inside for everybody to take. And if you start using a new mod with different weapons, I don't have to be like, oh shit, I have to edit all my ammo boxes to have new magazines inside them. Like, regardless of whatever mods you use, you will always be able to give everybody back just their loadout, which is super, super nice. So let's say I'll just drop, in order to show off how this works, I'll just drop my pistol completely. So you can see I can check the supply status, which means how often this box can be used. You see this box has 15 resupplies left. Now I click on reapply loadout. And now I have my pistol back, so this means I would also have like all my ammo in my vest and everything back. So like your complete loadout, whatever you lost will be reapplied. So even something like disposables, if you lost your helmet or shit like that, you get everything back, obviously. And you see checking the supply status, it now says 14 resupplies left. And yeah, if it hits 0, the box is just gonna delete itself. And yeah, this is just a super nice way for everybody to get their stuff without having to worry about there not being the right items in the box, or not enough, like the amount of items in the box not being enough or anything like that. And um, I made this compatible with like Ace Cargo, so you can load these boxes inside a vehicle and like unload them somewhere else, and like they will still work perfectly fine, and it will remember how many supplies are left in them and all of that. And you can also resupply vehicles using those. Um, the only difference is that a vehicle will take 5 of these limited resupplies instead of 1. So obviously, you know, you can resupply less vehicles than just infantry with one of these boxes. And you know, all these numbers that I've been throwing around, like the cooldowns for resupplying, the cooldown for changing pylons on planes, and all of this can be changed as Zeus on the fly as well. You see, I have everything here. So you saw the resupply car boxes had 15 uses, so you can see I can change what number that should be. Set it to a maximum of 30 here. Um, you know, um, yeah, resupply. If you like if you got a new loadout from one of these boxes, there's a 900-second cooldown. So obviously I can change this in game as well to anything. Um, Here, resupply vehicle pylons is set to 600 seconds. So, you know, that's what you saw the notification earlier said, 10-minute cooldown. So, yeah, all of this shit can be changed. Yeah, I just realized I should also add the numbers. Like I said, the resupply factor for these boxes is 5 for a vehicle. So you could resupply up to 3 vehicles if the limit if there's 15 resupplies in this box. I should add those numbers to the menu as well. I just realized. So like the factor, like the resupply factor, I would say. But yeah, there's just a lot of really cool shit that I've been working on for the framework. Don't remember if there was anything else recently changed, but I mean that's already a lot. Yeah, and some of these changes just came up, like, you know, by playing with a group. Um, yeah. Hang on, I'm gonna write that down real quick. What I wanted to change. All right. So yeah, now that I showed off all the stuff that I've been working on, I'm just gonna go ahead and play around with some of the AI on this for this mission. So yeah, I'm currently playing or like Zeusing for a British World War II group, and made this mission for them for the future to when they want to start doing a North Africa campaign. I think one thing that is new actually that I hadn't demonstrated yet is that the skins on vehicles changes now to depending on whatever I've set it to at the beginning of an op in this screen here. So since I set it to DAC, which is a German Africa core, all the vehicles here now have the Africa related skins to them. So yeah, if it wasn't for that, all these vehicles would have like different camo and shit. Um, so I can show that, I can or demonstrate that, like if I just go to Wehrmacht and place down a truck, you see the truck in the preview here would have like some like Normandy type of like camouflage to it. But once I place it down, you see the camouflage is changed to the Africa one. Same for any other vehicle that I included in the system. So, or let's say tank. This one, you see the Tiger would have a camouflage one, but you see with this, it's changed to also an Africa one. So yeah, that's just also one of the dynamic changes. Hey there. I remember you being very into the modding scene of like Men of War. If I, yeah, I don't know if we like actually talked before. That's just I remember your name from doing your own mods and stuff. But yeah, if sorry to go back to this, if I change, for example, the system to like say winter, for example, the same vehicles I just placed down, would then obviously have winter camo on them. Yeah, it's just a bit nicer, and than having different factions in this side menu that I need to work with for whatever camouflage they're supposed to have. So, yeah. I mean, the same applies obviously to the infantry, but I know that I've shown off the infantry changes before, but so basically the same thing works for the vehicles now. I'm just gonna spawn in the first AI units now. So I'm not gonna show that system again. I know I've shown out that before. You can see it's loading. If you look at the map here, you can see it's loading in all the AI now that I've set up in the editor. There they are.
Kommt schon! Bewegung! Vorwärts! Los! Vorwärts! Vorwärts! Gehen wir! Irgendwelche Befehle, Feldwebel? Das kann ich nicht machen! Gehen wir! Los! Vorrücken! Los!
And yeah, that way the AI gets spawned in whenever they're needed and not like taking up the whole server for forever.
Es wäre eine warme Mahlzeit, recht? Gehen wir!
You can hear there's static radio sound in the background, which is from inside here. Should be a radio. Yeah, this radio guy here is where he has the static sound from. Then we also have the officer inside here. But yeah, so yeah, this is gonna be a mission that I'm gonna be Zeusing for a group of people later on. Well, not today, later on, but like sometime down whenever they're gonna start their North Africa campaign. It's actually gonna be the beginning of the campaign, so like they're gonna land close to this German airfield. Well, you can actually see the objectives that I set up here. So like, objective 1, take the airfield and clear the castle. The castle's right next to the airfield, obviously, and then they have 2 strong points to secure and repel any counterattacks. So yeah, the strong points are here and here on the map. So yeah, here the AI is not loaded in yet, but I will show loading them in later on. Again, like I said, I only spawn in the AI wherever they're currently needed to help with the server performance. So that's what this whole spawn system with the different groups here is about, you know. So, the airfield being the first objective, obviously group 1 to spawn in would be everything close to the airfield. So you see the castle objective here has the AI spawned in and the airfield, and also like a little checkpoint up here.
Irgendwelche Befehle, Feldwebel?
Yeah. And yeah, this checkpoint was like built by me in the map editor, as well as like stuff like these fortifications and like, for example, this sandbag position here and here, as well as the AA emplacements here along the airfield, like this one. This was also built in the editor. Like, so I try to just build in the editor whatever, you know, extra is needed for the mission. Same as this one here. Yeah. So yeah, the airfield gonna be their first objective, and they will have a pilot. I mean, again, you saw the player base earlier, which is like up here. So this is where they will have one of the pilots in this plane and take all the players and paradrop them close to the German airfield. And then the pilot will switch over to one of these and provide cast support, which I think will be fun. I mean, the pilot will obviously have targets along the airfield to take out, like, you know, these planes here. And the pilot will also have, of course, to deal with the AA fire here of those guns. So I think that will make it also very cinematic for the paratroopers dropping the players, because they will see their pilot doing cast runs on this airfield, and you know, all the AA fire and shit. So gonna be some patrols here. Another patrol here.
Du weißt, dass du hier nichts zu suchen hast.
So yeah, these 88s gonna be a problem for the paratroopers that they'll have to deal with. There's one over here facing this opening here, and then another one basically to the opposite side over here in this little nice little position overlooking this side. So basically both sides of the airfield have an 88 capable of firing HE rounds at the infantry, and then we have 3 little AA guns on the airfield itself that will be what the pilot has to deal with. Another little patrol here. So yeah, a couple of patrols, and then a hell of a garrison to deal with as well. So that's gonna be like the huge main. That's gonna be the big main objective to take care of. And again, I can't say it enough, the script that I'm using for the AI formations makes these patrols so much better, since instead of walking in a straight long line, they can now just walk as one group like this. And I know it sounds weird, but this right here, what you're looking at, would not be possible in the vanilla game without my script. So yeah, we have a couple of patrols, and yeah, it's gonna be a challenging mission for the players, but definitely doable. And then I'll probably have some reinforcements for the Germans once they have like captured the airfield. So you can see here it's the airfield and the castle right next to it, and then you'll have here the 2 strong points that they also need to take. And so yeah, German reinforcements will probably come in from, well, basically the reinforcements can come in from any of these roads here, so I'll see how I do it, probably decide that on the fly. But for now, since I'm by myself here, we'll just have some AI fighting AI. So let's bring in some UK forces. So where do we wanna do this attack from? I feel like it makes sense to attack from somewhere over here first and go for the castle, because then they also have the high ground here to shoot down at the Germans from the airfield. I'm just gonna put in some guys here. Let's see how this goes. Alright, apply loadouts. There we go. We can hear somebody open fire in the distance already. Oh shit, is that the AA shooting? I think it is. Oh god. Oh. It appears the AI already fucked up. Maybe I'll take that for a lesson for the actual op level players and tell the AI to hold fire. Okay, then let's also get in.
Wiring! Stay where I can help. Understood! Suppressive fire. Infantry and open.
It's unfortunately a bit too low. Oh, or we have some casualties in the castle wall here.
Der da unten, wir kommen!
some of its crew, but they also took out the Sherman. Oh, this one got messed up already. So out of the 3 AA guns, only 1 is remaining. my god. Look at these two. Look at these two. That was pretty cool. Oh shit, the AA gun. Finding this guy. Oh boy, that is nasty. This AA gun. Jeez. Well, I guess he took out the plane, but it didn't look like the plane was doing much. Again, ArmA AI can be super stupid. Have them right here. Oh, we got the pilot. Yeah, the pilot is over here. So yeah, he definitely got shut down. I feel like you should be shooting. Where are you going? Hold on, dude. Can I get you just like be less retarded? why I remote control every AI vehicle with Zeus and its trucks. obviously the AI is not as great as like taking walls like these, you know, since they can't like climb anything. But if players attack this place, it's gonna be a lot easier for them.
Pass auf, Junge!
And yeah, players will be stuck with a problem like this. They're like, oh, shoot, it's been gone forever. Alright. Let's get some more guys from the direction of the entrance here.
Hierher! Ich brauche Munition!
Oh, that was a snipe. Gee. Look at my mates, they're already all the way up there, dude. Well, that was that. Okay. Well, that's enough for that. So, yeah, you can see how that's gonna be quite a long objective to take, especially if reinforcements come in. So the strong points, as I said, the AI didn't load in yet because, you know, what's the point of having them sit all the time using server performance when they're not even gonna, you know, do anything yet. So that's when, basically, once they cleared this whole castle and airfield objective, at that point I'm gonna go into Zeus and be like, spawn group 2. And as you can see here, group 2 is being loaded in. Now spawning in. One by one, nicely. There we go. Spawning in, spawning in.
Folgt mir, Jungs!
Ausrücken!
Los, los, los! Vorwärts!
So yeah, everything loaded in finally, and, you know, make sure they aren't, you know, they are not waiting around on the server affecting performance while they're not even needed. So yeah, so that's gonna be also a bit of a challenge, of course, to take these 2 strong points with the entrenched Germans. Oh! Look what we found here. That is random. We found the fucking plane they shot down. The Royal Air Force plane. Wow. Okay, wait. This here is where the plane crashed. And the pilot, we saw the pilot somewhere like over here next to the castle. So obviously, so it must have been flying like this when it was shut down, and the pilot jumped out, opened his parachute, and the plane continued to crash over there. Damn. What are the odds that we find it like this, just randomly looking around?
Los! Bewegung!
So yeah, and both positions have these trenches and a few pillboxes.
Vorwärts! Kommt schon!
Gehen wir! Los, 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 vorwärts! Hier lang, ich geh voraus!
And then this one here also
Vorwärts, komm schon!
is an important
Folgt mir!
crossroad, so this one will definitely also have some German reinforcements.
Hier lang! Ich geh voraus!
Kommt mit, Jungs!
Folgt mir, Jungs! Los, los, los! Vorwärts! Wir rücken vor!
Ich geh voraus!
But yeah, but yeah, this will be where I'm gonna stop for today.
Alles klar! Folgt mir!
Like I said, mainly just wanted to go through the changes to the framework, which are fucking sick. So yeah, the people I'm currently playing with definitely seem to enjoy everything that, you know, in as far as my coding goes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what other improvements I can come up with and stuff like that. I like how there's like stuff on my to-do list now that I just found out while streaming. Okay, but yeah. Thanks for taking a look, and as usual, anyone out there who wants to play ArmA with some friends or whatever, as part of a group, feel free to contact me so we can set something up and get started, play together. Alright, thank you for watching and take care.